a divine warning, a great storm, endless rain, a vessel adrift on dark waters. This is the flood story you've heard before. But what if I told you it's far older than we imagined? Welcome back to the Silent Lodge. If you're drawn to ancient truths hiding in plain sight, consider subscribing now. Because what we're about to uncover may change the way you see the past and perhaps the future. The tale of the flood begins before the world as we know it. A god grows angry. Humanity has gone too far. A flood is sent to cleanse everything. But one person is warned. Noah, the righteous man, receives a divine message. He builds an ark, gathers his family, collects animals in pairs. And when the rain falls for 40 days and nights, everything else vanishes beneath the waves. When the waters finally recede, the ark comes to rest upon a mountain. A new world begins, reborn from the ashes of the old. It's a powerful, sacred story, but it's not the first time it was told. Centuries before the book of Genesis was written, another version was etched into clay in ancient Mesopotamia. Around 1700 BCE, in what is now Iraq, a story of a man named Ziusudra, later known as Utnapishtim, was already being told. This man, too, is warned by the gods. He too builds a massive boat. He too survives a flood that wipes away the world. The similarities are impossible to ignore, and the story doesn't stop there. In Greece, we meet Deucalion and Pyrrha, who survive a flood sent by Zeus. In India, the god Vishnu, disguised as a fish, guides Manu's ark to safety. Among the Maya, angry gods drown the third creation in rain and darkness. In Chinese legends, only divine emperors can tame the floods that consume the land. In Aboriginal Australia, the waters rise and a chosen one survives. Culture after culture, continent after continent. Always the same pattern, a flood, a warning, a survivor, and a rebirth. And yet, many of these cultures had no known contact with one another. So how is it possible that they all tell the same story? Coincidence? Or is there something else, a memory? A real event so devastating, so universal, that it etched itself into our collective consciousness? Could this be why the flood myth echoes across the earth? Is it not fiction, but the oldest memory humanity still carries? To understand, we need to go further back, not 5,000 years, but 10,000, to a world on the edge of something unimaginable, to a time when ice ruled the earth, and then began to melt. 10,000 years ago, the world was changing. The last ice age was ending. Vast glaciers, miles thick, began to collapse. And as they did, something terrifying happened. The seas rose. Not slowly, not quietly, but in massive, violent surges known as meltwater pulses. Imagine watching the ocean creep closer to your village every single year, and never stop. Scientists now believe that sea levels may have risen as much as 30 feet within a single human lifetime. Not once, but several times. Each one a global reset. In Northern Europe, a region called Doggerland, a fertile land connecting Britain to the continent, vanished beneath the North Sea. Entire communities lost forever. In Southeast Asia, a landmass the size of India, called Sundaland, was swallowed. It had been home to thriving coastal cultures, and now it's all underwater. In the Black Sea, sediment layers suggest a catastrophic flood around 7,600 years ago, possibly so dramatic that some scholars believe it inspired the story of Noah itself. But the flood stories aren't just buried in mud. They're etched into ruins, into abandoned cities. Places like Shuruppak and Kish, ancient Mesopotamian cities, show sudden flood layers ending entire civilizations. Yet some of these floods may have had even darker origins. Around 12,800 years ago, Earth plunged into a mysterious cold snap, a mini ice age called the Younger Dryas. One theory, a comet slammed into the ice sheets of North America. The explosion would have vaporized glaciers, ignited global fires, and sent tsunamis ripping across the continents. It may sound unbelievable, but geological evidence of abrupt climate shifts, crater-like structures, and massive burn layers suggest something catastrophic did happen. Plato, writing in 360 BCE, speaks of a civilization that disappeared in a single day and night of misfortune. He called it Atlantis. Many dismissed it as allegory, but he dates its fall to 9600 BCE, the exact end of the Younger Dryas. Could Atlantis be more than a metaphor? Could it be another fragment of the same shattered memory we call the flood myth? Everywhere you look, across cultures, oceans, and centuries, the same pattern emerges. Not just myth, but memory. The story of a planet nearly wiped clean, and a few who survived. And always, the survivors are warned by a god, a dream, a voice, something. And always, they are told to build. Across every version of the flood myth, one element always stands out, the ark. But it's not always the boat you're imagining, and what it carries might be even stranger than you think. In the Atrahasis epic, the ark isn't a ship at all. It's a giant coracle, a massive, perfectly round vessel. In Gilgamesh, the ark is described as a cube, each side measuring the same. And in Genesis, Noah's ark is a long rectangular chest. 3 different cultures, 3 different shapes. But here's the twist. When you calculate the volume based on each story's measurements, the usable space is nearly identical, about 15,000 square cubits. Coincidence? Or could they be recalling the same vessel? Not a ship meant to sail, but one meant to survive, to float, drift, and endure the chaos of a world being reset. In 2014, British curator Irving Finkel translated a 3,700-year-old Babylonian tablet. It contained precise instructions for building the ark, wood type, pitch lining, and even the blueprint. Scholars recreated it, and it floated. This wasn't a navigational ship. It was a survival capsule, round, massive, sealed, built not to journey, but to preserve. But preserve what? In some flood myths, like the Hindu tale of Manu, the ark carries more than just people and animals. It carries seeds of every plant and life form. In Zoroastrian tradition, the hero Yima builds a subterranean vara, an underground shelter, to preserve not just humans and animals, but the best seeds of creation. A genetic vault, long before the idea existed. And in certain Mesopotamian accounts, the ark doesn't just carry life, it carries tablets, records, blueprints, knowledge, the foundations for rebuilding an entire civilization. Could the ark have been a library, a memory capsule, a coded vault filled not only with DNA, but with the instructions for how to begin again? Today, we do something eerily similar. The Svalbard Global Seed Vault, buried deep inside a mountain in Norway, is designed to outlast disaster. It stores seeds from around the world, protected from war, famine, or even a new ice age. Is it possible our ancestors, too, tried to protect the essence of life? Maybe not with technology we'd recognize, but through ritual, symbolism, and storytelling. And perhaps that's why the ark reappears in so many flood myths. Because what it carries is more than animals. It carries memory, the blueprint of humanity itself. If that's true, then the flood myth isn't about destruction. It's about preservation. Not the end of the world, but a desperate attempt to save it. Every flood story ends the same way, with the waters receding and the ark coming to rest on a mountain. But what happens after that moment may hold the biggest clue of all. In the Islamic tradition, the ark settles on Mount Judi, a rugged peak in southeastern Turkey, near the headwaters of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The Bible says it rested on Mount Ararat, further north, and high in those foothills lies something strange, Durupnur, a 500-foot-long, boat-shaped formation embedded in the rock. Some believe it's the petrified remains of Noah's Ark. Others dismiss it as a natural landslide. But just 300 meters away lies something even more mysterious. A hill once thought ordinary, until in 1994, archaeologists uncovered an ancient structure buried beneath it, Göbekli Tepe. The name means Potbelly Hill, but what lay underneath was anything but mundane. Massive stone circles, T-shaped pillars, carvings of animals, and abstract symbols, and a mystery. Carbon dating revealed something shocking. Göbekli Tepe is over 11,000 years old. That's 6,000 years older than Stonehenge and the pyramids. It predates writing, farming, even pottery. The stones weigh up to 20 tons, perfectly shaped and precisely placed. They align with astronomical points, as if marking the sky, or something that once fell from it. But the biggest question is this: why was it buried? The site was intentionally filled in with dirt, stone, and rubble. A massive, deliberate act. But by who? And why? Some believe Göbekli Tepe was built by the survivors of a cataclysm, those who remembered the flood and wanted to preserve their knowledge in stone. And the timeline fits. Around 9600 BC, the Younger Dryas, the mini ice age that froze the planet, came to a sudden, mysterious end. That's the exact date Plato gave for the fall of Atlantis. Is it coincidence? Or did survivors of a drowned world bring their knowledge here? Some carvings at Göbekli Tepe depict animals not native to the region, fueling theories that they represent species saved from the flood, or star constellations encoded in myth. One pillar, known as the Vulture Stone, may depict the night sky as it appeared during the cataclysm, a memory frozen in stone, warning of a world-ending event. Could Göbekli Tepe be more than a temple? Could it be a monument to survival? A place where the world began again, not just spiritually, but literally? It stands high on a plateau, not quite a mountain, but towering over the plains. And it lies close to the Euphrates, near Mount Judy, the mountain where Noah's Ark is said to have landed. And what does Genesis say Noah did after the flood? He built an altar and offered a sacrifice. Could Göbekli Tepe be that altar, or a memory of one just like it? Across the world, similar echoes remain, whispers of a time before the sea swallowed the land. In the Sahara, rock carvings show boats sailing across what is now desert. In the Alai Mountains of Siberia, strange boat symbols are carved into stone, far from any sea. In Bolivia, near Lake Titicaca, ancient tales speak of a flood that came before the sun was born, and stone boats have been found where only dust remains. In Egypt's Bahariya oasis, fossilized sea life lies buried in limestone hills, a ghost of an ocean that vanished thousands of years ago. Could these be global fragments of the same story? A civilization lost, a world reset, and a few survivors tasked with starting over. In many ancient traditions, the flood isn't the first catastrophe. It's just the latest. In Hopi mythology, the world has ended 4 times before. Once by fire, once by ice, once by flood, and once by destruction. In Hinduism, the great yugas are cosmic cycles, each ending in darkness, then a new age begins. The Maya spoke of 5 suns, each world destroyed when humanity lost harmony with the gods. In Aboriginal tales, previous worlds were lit by different suns, each extinguished in a unique devastation. And in Norse mythology, Ragnarok ends with a great flood that swallows the world. Before the earth rises once more from the sea, the pattern is always the same: creation, destruction, rebirth. And always, someone is warned. Someone is told to build, to save, to remember. But what if these aren't just stories? What if they're messages, warnings from our ancestors? What if the flood isn't behind us, but still ahead? And what if we, like them, are being given signs? A chance to build something before the storm returns. Thank you for watching. If you believe stories like this matter, ancient myths, lost history, and truths buried beneath time. Please subscribe to the Silent Lodge and help us uncover more.